morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Shelley Lidkey for our study group. It's Shelley Lidkey for our study group. It's Shelley Lidkey for our. Hey. All righty. Just getting things set up. When you hop on, go ahead and introduce yourself. And this morning, we're going to be taking a look at the gates in Virgo. We made it halfway through the gates last week. We had a nice discussion and was looking at the energies and everyone's gates. And we'd love to have you hop on and join us for this morning's call. So, the gates in Virgo, they are gates 29, the gate of commitment. And we went over that one last week. And then also the next one is gate 59. So I'll go ahead and share my screen so you can see what I am talking about. Okay. So we have the Human Design Mandala here. And in Virgo, we start out with gate 29, and this is the gate of commitment where we are making commitments in our lives and having our committing our life force energy. Kind of had a loss of words there for a sec. And committing our life force energy correctly and making correct commitments for who we are. And the whole message for that is make sure that you listen to your strategy and authority of your human design chart and keep moving forward from there so that you can progress and grow in the way that you are wanting to in your life. And then gate 59 is next, and we talked about this one last week as well. So gate 59 is the gate of intimacy. It's the gate of connection, connecting with others, connecting in business, connecting in relationships. And it at its very foundation, it also has the basic tribal energy of creating a strong genetic line in our society. So it at its base structure has to do with children and bringing children into the world, but it also has the message of connecting intimately with others in business or in one-on-one relationships. Not necessarily sexual energy, but can be. So like a parent can have a relationship with their child that's a one-on-one relationship, or you're in a relationship with your spouse or companion or a sibling or a mother or father or whatever it is. Then this gate 59 helps facilitate the connection in those relationships. If this gate is colored in white in your chart, then you'll have an open, flowing, and inconsistent way or varying way of connecting with others in your environment, in your world, in your relationships. So even if a gate is colored in white, so for example, I mean, this isn't a good example of, let's see, I will switch over here. So if gate 59 is colored in your chart, you'll have a consistent way of connecting with people in your life. And if it's colored in white, then it will be more open. The connections will feel different every time, and you'll find that you connect differently with everyone depending on who the individual is. And let's see, the next gate on the mandala wheel is gate 40. And we also talked about this one last week. We got through gate 64, so I'm just doing a quick review. And gate 40 is it's the gate of hardship is not the right thing. It is part of it, but it's the gate of deliverance, like delivering yourself from hardship. And it is a tribal energy. It's all about helping and caring for the tribe and being in the space of serving the tribe. Um, this is an individual that, like, if things are going need to be done or taken care of, or dinner on the table, or resources being need to be sought out for the welfare of the family, so to speak. If you have this gate 40 defined in your chart, you may notice that people look to you to do those things. Like all of a sudden everybody's in the room looking at you to take care of the thing, even though they're not, maybe not speaking, because this gate, if you take a look at it, is not connected to the throat, right? It's actually in the gates in Virgo, it's off by itself. So everyone may be looking to or expecting the energy of someone who has the gate 40 to stop and get and take care of things. So, good morning, Maris. I was just reviewing the gates in Virgo that we talked about. And let me open the chat here. Hi, how are you doing? I was just talking about the gate 40 and something that oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you? Oh, you said you're good. Oh my heavens. Okay. I was just going over the gate 40 because I'm here kind of talking to myself in the moment, which is okay. It's good. It's all good. Um, as the weather warms up, I don't exactly know how things are going to go here for us in the in the group. We'll see. So, gate 40, I was just talking about gate 40, and the thing that I remembered that I didn't share last week was that if someone has gate 40 activated in their chart, that people in their group might look to them, in their family or coworkers or whoever might look to them as the individual to get things done. So I was just doing that. It's like Mary dropped off, and here she is again. Hi. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again. We're just looking at the gate 40. All right. Okay, here we go. So the gate 40, if someone has it defined, like colored in, like it is on this little body graph here, then they might find that people in their group, either coworkers or family members or whatever, I suppose, even if you were out in public and something unexpected happened and something needed to happen, people that are standing there with gate 40 activation might be the ones that are energetically looked towards to deliver everyone from the hardship, whatever the hardship is that's happening right there in front of everyone. So that's a fascinating thing to think of. I've never thought of that before, but I noticed last week, I had not noticed this pattern before all the gates of Virgo because I hadn't looked at them gathered together in the chart before like this, but gate 40 is off by itself, and it is the gate of aloneness. It's one of the gates of aloneness. Off the top of my head, I don't know what the other gates of aloneness are, but gate 40 is a gate of aloneness, meaning this person will feel alone. Regardless of being in groups of people, they will feel alone all the time in their life, even though they're in companionships, they have a family or whatever. So, um, Maris, can you remind me, do you have the gate 40 defined in your chart? Is that one of your activations? No, gate 40. Okay, so gate 40 is colored in white on your design. So, um, that would be open for you. It would be a more flexible energy, like you will be open. Is your heart center open, or I guess colored in white, or is it colored in red? Like, is that colored in? I almost feel like I have a sneeze coming on. Let's see. Get a tissue if I need it. So if your heart center, in the case of gate 40, if it's colored in white, then you'll have an open-hearted way of being with people. And you say your heart center is defined, it's colored in. Okay, so you'll have a consistent way of knowing what you want, of valuing your energy, your own self, and valuing other people or ideas or concepts or items, resources, whatever. You'll have a consistent way of doing that. And I don't think that we mentioned that last week. So I'm glad we're talking about this again. And then because your gate 40 is colored in white, you'll have that consistent energy there. So you'll value other people in your tribe, but you'll have an open way of like figuring out how to solve things that are troubles that might come up or challenges in the home. You'll have a different way of doing that, possibly every time, and depending on who's standing in front of you at the given moment, whatever is happening in the moment. So you've noticed that. Okay, all right, yeah, because it's just there's that flexibility there, and it being colored in white will, like, it's for, you'll figure out things, problem solving or whatever, overcoming challenges or hardships, depending on who is there in the moment, because you'll be solving them for other people. I think I got that finally spit out. So all the white areas in our chart, when they're on the behalf of other people. So this is only the gates in Virgo, but if we were looking at someone's chart, then they would have all these open places. They would be speaking on behalf of other people. Um, they would be collecting resources or noticing where value is for other people. Um, the foundation of what they're doing would be for on behalf of other people. So yeah, you can kind of get a flavor of it, but everywhere that's defined or colored in, they would have a consistent way of intimately connecting in with other people in this case here, and how they feel in each case. And here in the 2946, they would have a consistent way of committing their life force energy and physically in their world. So anyway, it's fascinating to stop and look at those things. So, do you have any questions regarding the gate 40? Maybe that you had come to your awareness since last week or just now? Okay. All righty. I think we're going to let's go ahead and move to the next gate. I think we went over, I believe it's gate 64 that's next, but let's take a look here at the mandala wheel. Yeah, gate 64. So gate 64 is the gate of diverse possibilities. It's the gate, like you can have lots and lots of puzzle pieces coming together. Confusion before completion is what the Chinese I Ching calls it. Um, I'm looking at the step astrology here. So you have gate 46 defined in your chart. Okay, so we'll be looking at that here in just a moment. Um, gate Gate 64, I want to hold up Shaitan's book here. So we have the gate 64 and the 4764 channel is shown in this graphic here, which is um, the channel of abstract thinking. It's in the collective sensing circuitry. So there's creativity, um, physical sensing, like the five senses, um, right-brained thinking is very creative. And then our step astrology here for our series Joy community, it's steps 11 through 17 in Virgo. So it has to do, according to the step astrology, has to do with the energies in your environment. So all the diverse possibilities or ways of doing things or having things occur um, in lots of different ways through the gate 64 in one's environment. Yes, that's where we ended last week. So I was just wanting to quickly review in case someone started out with this one. So if someone's watching the replay, and I'm kind of moving through these first half of the gates in Virgo quickly because we actually had quite a pretty good discussion, deep discussion of those first gates last week. So that would have been, let me check the date, it would have been the 15th. So looking in the Human Design Study Group, or the Chiron Study Group in the Events tab, under the 15th of March, then you'll be able to look at the replay for last week where we had a pretty good deep discussion for those first gates. So I like how Christina mentioned previously when we had been talking, it's been, I don't know, might have been a month and a half ago or something, or even longer back. Um, Gate 64, because when I shared with our group that I had Gate 64 activated 4 times in my chart, Christina made the comment, and it kind of helped me a bit, I'm going to have to say, because Gate 64 can have a lot of confusion because it is confusion before completion. And I feel like she brought a good picture for the Gate 64 into the concept of it, or offers a good frame of reference for it, is that just having Gate 64 activated 1 time in your chart, that's like a puzzle box. Like if you have one puzzle, you're pouring out the pieces on the table and you're going to put it together. So at first you're going to find the edge pieces, right? And you put all those pieces together and you make the frame, and then you sort all the green pieces, then all the red pieces and the blue pieces and all of that, all the pieces that look similar for that puzzle so that you can put it together more easily. You can see how it's going to come together, but it's still a bit of a confusion on the table, right? Because things aren't put together properly yet, so you can't see the picture except on the box, so you can kind of see where you're going, but until you actually move the pieces around, you're not going to feel like you're getting anywhere. So when I shared that I have gate 64 activated 4 times, and I think this is the way that most of the people that were born in 1965 and late 1964 will have gate 64 potentially activated 4 times in their chart. Okay. So those years, because of the activations that were happening at that time, um, people in my age group could and can be experiencing this energy in their life. So a heads up for that as well, because I've noticed charts in the age group that I am, and they're in the same, they have the same activations or similar activations and lines in their gate 64 as well. So Christina made the comment that that's like having 4 separate puzzle boxes poured out on the same table and trying to assemble all the pieces together out in on one table. So if you can imagine all 4 of those puzzles all smeared together, and you're trying to put all these puzzle pieces together, and that only helps me be more patient with what I'm creating and bringing into the world. So I'm grateful Christina said something about that. Um, and I'm gonna share my screen again so we can look on this little chart here. So the gate 64 is up here at the top on the crown center. So the crown center is the only center that does not, that it's out, part of it is outside of the physical form. It's actually connecting with your auric field or the quantum field or the quantum realms, however you want to put that, and bringing in constant stream of ideas. So, and inspirations. All right, so Maris says, my eldest son has gate 46 in an open center. Okay, all right. Okay, so um let's move. Do you feel like you're complete on gate 64, Maris? If you had any questions about it, let me ask that here before we move forward. Okay, all right, very good. So that was a good enough review. And all right, so our next, let me get to the right panel here. Our next gate that we're going to look at is gate 47. Gate 47 is the gate of oppression in the Chinese I Ching. So we're going to take a look in Barry Trosper's book, his primer, and you probably couldn't see that very well because I'm on the small screen. And gate 47 sits here at the other end of the channel in with gate 64. So it's the gate 4764 channel, and again it's the abstract thinking channel. I'm just going to turn to gate 47. And quick reminder for anyone who might be new watching the replay, we're referring to Shaitan Parkin's Book of Lines, and also Barry Trosper's I Ching, the illustrated primer. He has beautiful reference material in there for Oh, goodness. I just got a catch in my throat. Or the Chinese I Ching, like the classic. So it brings a nice extra uh I don't know, extra energy or connection with like the foundational I Ching energy for the gates. So um gate 47 is the gate of realization or mental exhaustion. It's where we can, gain our realizations. I don't know what's up with my throat today. It started doing this like 15 minutes before. So I don't know if it's uh, someone that might be watching the replay, or I found over the years if I'm having a physical whatever coming up before a session that sometimes it's somebody that I'm working with in some way, or an issue regarding what's being presented. So these gates are not connected to the throat center, so I'm not sure um, what this issue is. I checked within myself, and it's not my issue. So maybe it will come through this morning while we go over these gates. Maris says, no gate 47 in the house in your household family. Okay. So I know in mine, I have my son has gate 47. He's a reflector, and my husband has gate 47. He has the entire channel, the 4764 channel defined. Um, the gate 47, I've noticed it has the ability to dive into the ugly stuff and be okay doing that. For example, my husband really loves H.P. Lovecraft and Stephen King, and those kinds of subjects, like horror, not like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, stuff like that. That's not true horror. And my husband's taught me a lot about this. So, like zombie movies, not true horror. True horror is like H.P. Lovecraft, what he presented. Like there could be something happening in the house down the street, that or some strange energy in the woods that we don't understand. It's just there. We feel like something's off and we don't understand it. So like in H.P. Lovecraft stories where he's talking about Cthulhu, people can feel the energy of Cthulhu, that something is not quite right, but they can't seem to perceive or understand at the mental level, which is interesting. Gate 47 is on the um, mind center. So people have a hard time perceiving what's going on, even though they're sensing that something is going on. And this has everything to do with the gate 47. So it has to do with overcoming mental fears or mental oppressions, and being able to overcome any sensations of terror or trauma and transmuting it to light. And Richard Rudd goes over this more completely in the Gene Keys. In the human design system, it's mental oppression, meaning cycling thoughts over and over and over and having trouble arriving at a realization. But the trick is, if you're trying to force a realization, or you keep looking at the page and studying it over and over and over, and you're just not getting it, the trick with it is go sit in the jacuzzi or take a shower, go for a walk, go for a drive in the car, and think about and focus on something else. And then the aha or the realization can come through naturally on its own. Um, because the pressure has been taken off. It's kind of like, you have a balloon, you've blown it up, and you've got it plugged, but you keep just blowing it up and blowing it up, and it can either pop, which isn't, that's not pretty. Everybody jumps and pieces go everywhere. Or you can do the other thing of, just letting the air out, and then slowly, then it squeals and squeaks, right? And makes a bunch of noise. It's kind of like your child in the other room going, and you just need it to stop. Or you can just let the air out of the balloon on its own and let it sit down on the floor, and it can go around in the room and let all the air out on its own. And then it lights wherever it lights, and the moment of realization, right? But it needs to relax in order to do that first. I don't know if that's a good example, but that's what's coming to me right now, because the balloon has relaxed and now it just has arrived at its realization place. So, if it's colored in white, like Maris, you're saying in your household, you'll have realizations on behalf of other people, depending on who's in your environment. So it will be helpful, realizations that are helpful for other people, not necessarily for yourself. Hopefully, they'll be helpful for yourself, but realizations that are helpful for those around you because it's colored in white. If the mind center is defined, then you'll have a consistent way of thinking about those realizations you're having on behalf of other people if the gate is colored in white. If it is defined and activated, colored in, then you'll have a consistent way that you gain realizations. So like every time you get in the car, like if you're struggling with having realizations come to you, or distilling those thoughts and reaching a conclusion with how things need to proceed forward, then you discover that every time you go for a drive in the car, that you're able to have those realizations come more easily. Or every time you get in the shower, you have those realizations come to you easily. But if it's colored in white, then it could be any or all of the above, or needing to try other ways, depending on what's going on. So hopefully that was helpful, Maris. Did all of that make sense after all the little descriptions I went through? Okay. All right. So let's look at well, I'm going to show the step astrology. It's going to be similar to the gate 64 because they are in the same circuitry, but the step astrology continues on from gate 64 at step 17 and moves through step 22. So it starts out with sensing what's going on in the environment and wanting to make realizations regarding what's going on in the environment, but then it moves towards feeling regarding the future. So having realizations regarding one's environment at the beginning of the energy of gate 47, and then in lines 4 through 6, it starts focusing on how things feel and regarding the future. So we've noticed, especially with the happenings over the last 5 years, people having, concerns or fears coming up regarding the future. What's going to happen in the future? How are things going to move forward? And what is it going to look like for us in society as we go forward? So it'll be interesting when we move through Virgo this year, and get to gate 47, the energy that comes up at that time. So maybe we can make note of that, like in the back of our minds, and just notice when we arrive there. I'm gonna turn to gate 47 in Barry Trosper's book here, and the I Ching, the name of let me phrase that differently. The name of this gate in the Chinese I Ching is Kun. It's spelled K apostrophe UN, and it is lake above, joyous lake above, and abysmal water or rain below. So it kind of gives us an image of there's this overlighting energy of looking for this energy or archetypal energy of a joyous lake, like spending time on the lake with our family. But then there's this deep, abysmal water below and potential for rain um, coming over and spoiling our picnic. So the description he gives here, it says honesty and bravery while adapting to difficulties. Complaints go unheard. So on some level, that doesn't sound very delightful, right? Um, so let's read the rest of his longer description here. I have a little fly that's wanting to love me. Um, Kuhn is depicted as a superior person adapting to a confinement which suppresses superior talent and virtue. Notice that there is no one to complain to. So I'll show you the picture here in a moment. It's a man standing by himself. Kuhn is a time of difficulties arising out of exhaustion. So this is mainly mental exhaustion, depletion, or weariness, and is characterized by good fortune when honestly and bravely adapting to and resolving the difficulties. So taking the time to sit down and really look at what's going on. Complaints go unheard and arguments provoke disaster at this time. So arguing doesn't work in this case, like in a court of law or in relationships, arguing will not work. It is not a good time for arguing. I'm going to have to say, in my relationship, because I just shared that my husband has the 4764 channel activated in his design, we are not a couple that argues. And even though I'm a Gemini, and I know Mr. Witecki has talked about Geminis argue about everything. My husband and I, we're not always on the same page, and we do listen to one another and the ideas that we have to express when we're in conversation with each other. But we don't argue with each other. If we notice that there's arguing energy come up, we stop and we decide that we're not arguing about it. We literally have a decision made. There isn't an argument, and we just listen to one another and allow each other airtime, so to speak, or to share perspective. And we have not, we're not a couple that raises our voices or yells. We haven't been a family that does that. And I'm now looking at this from this light, the 4764 channel, and this energy here, I'm just wondering, the feel I'm getting for it is because this is activated, it's just we're aware of it at the conscious level. It is a conscious activation for my husband, that this is a potential, and we just stop it. So that's very, very nice. And I know a lot of households struggle with arguing or yelling or whatever. And so I'm grateful for this here, but do have the realization, if this is an issue in your family, that if this channel is colored in white for your family members, then understanding that there is an awareness that complaints can go unheard and arguments can provoke disaster. And so curbing that, if that is happening in the household, so it can calm the energy. And then the last sentence here from Barry, he says, cheerfulness needs to prevail to prevent the spirit from being defeated, excuse me, to prevent the spirit from being defeated. This, like divine spirit, the soul or the heart and soul, Now, one thing that my husband's chart does have, he has the 1858 channel as well. So it does help that joyous lake energy, because gate 58 is joyous lake above and joyous lake below. So both the upper and lower trigrams in gate 58 are um, uh, this joyous lake energy. So my husband is constantly looking at ways to raise the joy in the family. Okay, Mara. So oh wait. Yes, yes, Maris, we're still with gate 47. Gate, do we talk about still gate 47? Yes. But because gate 47 has the joyous lake above, and then it has the abysmal water below in the trigrams, there is a bit of potential for melancholy or depression. So recognizing that and keep moving yourself up towards that joyous lake energy and joyfulness. And the biggest example, honestly, that I have of that is my husband. He does such an excellent job. Um, with it. He works with this energy and is such a good example. So that's why I'm giving him as an example. Because the gate 58 is the prime joyous lake energy, and he does have that in his design. For example, if things aren't going quite right, he will just kick up that joyfulness and he'll start literally skipping around the house, whistling, clicking his fingers, drumming up the joyful energy, and getting things moving in in that way. And when he's at work, he'll do funny things like if he's not in a very good mood, this is really funny. When he walks into the shop floor, like he'll come from directly from the parking lot, and the door he enters is goes right onto the shop floor. And he will literally, this is so funny. He has Aries energy because he has the life theme of service. So he will literally, I kid you not, he will walk in, uh he'll walk in on the shop floor and he'll go like this and he'll like, I'm here, and he won't even announce it, okay? He'll just walk through the shop like this and until somebody sees him and just crack up because they get the energy of, you know, he is on the shop floor, things are ready to move and get going, and he is the Cancer energy. And so it just kicks up the joyful energy and gets things moving through that Aries energy that he has there in his theme of service. So it's quite hilarious how he handles things when things appear to not be going well. So he's the best example that I can share that I have in my life. And you can see this can be somewhat of a disconcerting energy from the image that Mr. Trosper offers for us here. This gentleman is standing alone. He's inside a ring of barbed wire fence with water surrounding him everywhere. There's stillness inside where he can be, but he is by himself and he feels alone inside of his troubles. So, yeah, just kind of gives an energy picture of what's happening there. Okay. All right. So, Maris, my question is from the example I just gave of my husband, do you experience that in your life? Like the way you experience your joyful energy through the gate 58, and in this case, the upper trigram of the gate 47. You don't have any gate 47 expressions in your household or in your own design. So I'm wondering if when you feel like things are in the doldrums or whatever, or can't seem to figure things out, do you have you noticed if you have a knack of raising the energy or choosing to raise the energy to a joyful state if you notice things, are a little bit melancholy or melancholic. I like to share examples because it helps us understand one another. Mara says, yes, I had that more when I was a kid. Yeah. Um, Maybe play with ways of drumming that up on purpose. I mean, my husband, he's what, uh, 57? He's going to be, let me see. He's 2 years younger than me. Let me see. He's 56 right now. And he just has a way of getting that joyful energy kicked up. So, and he doesn't mind if people think he looks silly or whatever. So he just has a lovely, joyful, childlike quality with that. So, all righty. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else for gate 47. I don't have anything else. Mary says, ha ha ha, I do it more the last time. Sometimes I just start music and go dance. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Let me grab um let me grab Karen's book here because I know she's got contemplation questions in here. Stephanie is not feeling on the up and up, so that's why she's not here with us today. But let me look at gate 47 because people can get a bit feeling depressed with this energy. The challenge here is to become skilled at a mindset of openness and possibility, to not let inspiration die because you don't know how to fulfill it. So keep playing with it. Keep playing with the puzzle pieces. Um, the unbalanced expression is a tendency to quit before completion or to give up or feel defeated. The ideal expression is to remain hopeful and inspired, and like what we've been talking about, lift the energy up. Some contemplation questions. What thoughts do you have when you receive an idea or inspiration? Like, do you feel like it can actually be done? Is it possible? Or do you go to the other end of the spectrum of, uh, the two sides of it? Do you have hopeful energy towards it or despairing energy? Like, oh my goodness, it's like if you've watched the Riddick movies, in Pitch Black, I think it is, he says something about it's all circling the drain. Oh, it might have been the second one. It's all circling the drain or all back of the bus, everything's coming undone. What's the use? That kind of thing. How does it feel to let go of figuring out how you're going to make your idea a reality in the world? And affirmations, potential affirmations. My mindset is the source of my inspired actions and attitude. I know that when I receive an idea and inspiration, it is my job to nurture the idea by using the power of my imagination to increase the potential and emotional frequency of the idea. I consistently keep my inner and outer environment aligned with the energy of possibility and potential. I know that it is my job to create my virtue of my alignment, and I relax, knowing that it is the job of the universe to fulfill my inspirations. So, allowing the universal flow or universal mind to bring inspirations and realizations to you. So, being in a space of allowing. Yeah, tying all these pieces together is just super fantastic. I love it. So the shadow frequency to be on the lookout for is if oppression or hopelessness or feeling mentally oppressed shows up, then you can transmute the energy with that joyousness, that joyful looking around. Oh, I know. I'm glad I kept talking about this. Being grateful, like being grateful for everything that helps um, raise the level of joy in your heart. And then the city or treasure frequency is transfiguration. So transmuting lower energies or frequencies to a higher and more joyful resonant field. So, or vibe. Okay. Using esoteric language there. Resonant field. It's a vibe. There we go. Okay, very good. All righty. That feels complete. I must have hit the right button just now. Okay, so let's look at, we've got gate 6. So gate 6 is the gate of conflict resolution. So conflict resolution, particularly in relationships, because it's connected to the gate 59, right? So gate 59 is at the other end of the channel here. We can see on this little chart here. So the gate 6 has to do with how you feel at the emotional level. It can, depending on how one is feeling, can affect the literal pH balance in the physical form of the individual. And the gate 6 can carry the emotional energy of the household or the group. Like if you're at work, it will carry the emotional energy in the office. So if this individual that has the gate 6 defined, colored in their chart, if they're feeling melancholic, other people in the household or the office may start feeling melancholic. They'll pick up on the vibes. If they're feeling joyful or they're feeling excited or nervous or whatever the emotions are, anxious, worried, uh, hopeful, like we were just talking about, then other people around them will pick up on that. It can change the environment that is happening in the group. So Maris says, no gate 6 in your household. Okay, so you'll have an inconsistent way of resolving conflict in your household. Just, yeah, it'll be inconsistent and varying the ways that you determine to solve conflict in your house. So in my case, I have 5 younger sisters. And in our household growing up, I believe, just off the top of my head, I've looked at this before, most of us have the gate 64 activated. And if you can imagine a bunch of teenage girls going through their puberty cycle all together in the household, and our mother has gate 6 as well. And my dad and my brother did not. They both escape the house on a regular basis, I'm just going to say. So all of us having all these, I know it's really bad. It's really bad. And they both had the 3955 channel. Oh, my brother, he's still alive. My father is not. So them both having the 3955. So a great potential for melancholy and depression. Okay. Both of them have artistic expression in their life through the 3955, emotional expression, and they would escape the house on a regular basis. So that's totally understandable. And we have all this gate 6 energy going on in each of us, with all of us girls having all of these different expressions going on. No, the gate 59 is not for doesn't have the energy of depression. It's the energy of connection. So so connecting with everyone, it's wanting to reach out and connect with other people, like one-on-one in particular, like one-on-one business connections or one-on-one relationships with other people, one-on-one conversation. the 3955, because let me show on the screen. So here, the 3955 channel right here, it can have a tendency, if someone has this entire channel or even one of these gates activated in their chart, then there is a tremendous potential for, they feel emotions deeply. They feel at a deeper level than most people will ever feel. And there is, because of the potential emotional wave through the 1222 coming down through the 3955, and of course it's going to be constantly moving all the time. Sometimes you'll feel really good and other times you feel not so good, right? There is a strong potential for depression. And the answer here in both of these channels is to get your art stuff out and connect with your art. So my brother and my dad would escape into their artistic expressions. My dad, he loved sketching and drawing. He loved using his camera, and he also loved painting and putting together uh, models, car models. And he was extremely talented at it and talented at painting them as well, cars and airplanes. So escaping into the artwork at these times is the answer for this. But the reason I bring that up is because the gate 6 will carry the emotional energy in the household. And by all of this feminine energy with the gate 6, they would both escape from the house or escape into their artistic endeavors. And this would be correct for them. For a long time, I thought, why do they just get to escape the house? Where are they when things hit the fan? Well, they would just leave the room, and rightly so. So the gate 6 carries the emotional energy. And when you've got so many people in a household with gate 6, this can feel very difficult. So let's see. Maris says, me and both sons have the 55 and not the 39. Okay, very good. So, yep. It just helps bring realization to what's happening with some of these activations and how they bounce off of or can work with each other in a certain energy field or environment. And because the gate 6 has to do with, I'll show Shitan's book here. So the gate 6, of course, takes some talent putting this in front of the camera here because everything's backwards on the screen. In the 659 channel, it's the channel of connecting, of course. It is a tribal defense circuitry. So it's all about taking care of and strengthening the tribe through intimacy. Okay. And then the step astrology, if our camera will focus here, hopefully it will. It's not going to do that readily. The step astrology is steps 22 through 28. So it's all about how things feel and particularly how things feel regarding the future. And I'm going to have to say that was a main energy field in my household growing up, is how things feel and how do they feel regarding the future. And you know, I'm gonna have to say that just didn't go so well sometimes. So it's all fun and games in the candy shop for sure. Yeah. Oh gosh. It's good to laugh at these things because if we don't bring some joy in, oh my goodness gracious, it can just be some kind of trouble. Uh, so if you have gate 6 colored in white, you'll have varying ways and being more flexible in finding ways of working through conflict in the household. If it's colored in and it's activated and it's on a defined emotion center, of course, you want to take plenty of time to work through that conflict, whatever it is, and making sure that space and time is given to that. Everybody go to their own corners, kind of like go to your own room, go sit on your own bed, whatever it is. We had a very, very small home. We lived in, this is funny. There was, well, there was one bedroom in this house initially. My dad turned the garage into one bedroom, and then there was an extra little small office room or something, or I don't know, I guess it could have initially been a large pantry or storage area in the house. And my dad turned that into a bedroom. So my brother used that one. And my parents used the room that used to be the garage for the master bedroom. And then there was another bedroom where all of us girls were in the bedroom. Okay, so we were minus one child at that time. So there were five girls in the bedroom. So two twin beds and a small bed, a crib, depending on how small our little sister was. And so all of us were in there. They were all manifesting generators, with me being a manifester. So I never got any rest. Okay. I didn't get any rest till I was like 45 years old, by the way. I just kept crashing and burning until my husband figured out, oh my gosh, there's something going on here. So, and thankfully so, because now I've been able to recover from all of that burnout. Um, so that is a lot of emotions running around in the room, guys. That's why I say go to the mattresses, go to your bed. Talking about, what is that gangster movie? I don't know which one, where he says, go to the mattresses, you know. So here we go. Everybody go to their mattress, everybody go to their corners and take a minute, breathe. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that gives a good description of what defined emotion centers, defined uh, uh, gate six could look like in a situation like that. All I have is an example of my own life, and it's good to laugh about all of it. So the gate six, I'm looking in Karen's book, and this is her Encyclopedia of Quantum Human Design. So she combines the original aspects of the human design system with her quantum human design terms. And the challenge here for the gate six is to become proficient in using emotional energy and to learn to trust that your impact is in service to the world. When you understand that your life is a vehicle for service and your energy is being used to influence and impact those around you, you assume a greater obligation and responsibility to maintain a high frequency of energy. The quality of the emotional energy you cultivate influences others to come together in an equitable, sustainable, and peaceful way. Learning to trust that your words and impact will have an effect when the timing is correct and not overriding divine timing. I'm going to say, if the emotion center is colored in white and the this particularly, like what she's saying, impacting those around you, either way, if the gate six is colored in, you're going to have an impact on other people. Regardless of whether the emotion center is colored in white. If the gate six is colored in and the emotion center is colored in white, you will have an impact on the emotional energy of the whoever you're around. If the emotion center is colored in and the gate six is not colored in, then you'll have a flexible way of resolving conflict, but it will be resolving conflict on behalf of others because it's colored in white. It's good to keep talking about these patterns, because eventually your mind will understand, oh, if it's colored in white, this energy is being used on behalf of other people. I'm connecting with the energy of other people in my space. If it's colored in the chart, whether it's pink or black, or in the case of my branding, purple, or if the center is colored in, it's consistent and fixed. Like you'll have a consistent way of accessing that energy or expressing it or experiencing it. Okay. Mara says, I live with 3 defined emotional center people. Mine is undefined. Okay, that could feel challenging for you, Maris. Like, it might feel like you need to exit the room, and it's okay for you to exit the room, like I was just expressing regarding my dad and my brother. If it's not your stuff, there's no reason to stick around. You can go for a walk or go soak in the tub or whatever. Yes, it's a lot to take in, so you need to talk about it a lot. Yes, that's why we, like, pardon me, keep harping on it, so to speak, because eventually the mind will grasp what's going on and go, oh, that's what I'm seeing in my chart. But then, you got to go back and look up the line expressions and all that stuff. And so it's a lot of moving pieces, like what we were talking about with that gate 64. And it's a lot of physical moving pieces, which makes it, because these are in the sign of Virgo, right? So it's a lot of physical pieces moving around, because Virgo has to do with our physical environment and what that looks like. All those puzzle pieces moving around constantly and activating and unactivating and so on, depending on even transit energies going on. So it is good to keep talking about them. Let's see, the unbalanced expression could be feeling desperate, or having emotionally reactive energy, or feeling like there's lack, or that you're not being seen or heard, um, or that you're not even wanting to do what's going on. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, I'm just laughing regarding what the description that I just gave of my family. Okay, yeah. Or fearing that you'll never be seen or heard. So it's much like projector energy, okay? Like a projector could have the potential of feeling afraid that they're never going to be listened to, seen, or heard. Okay. Now, the optimal expression of gate 6, I'm getting some ahas. I love learning this with you with you guys, because I am giving myself an education. It's like I listened to Karen yesterday, and she said she's going to be a constant student of human design. I have to agree with her. Um, you're always forever a student of human design once you begin. Mara says, I have 2 projectors in the house. Yes. So recognizing them, acknowledging that they're standing there, even if you are not able to pay attention to them right then, just let them know, I see you, I hear you, I'll be with you in a moment. That can be so relieving, so relieving. The optimal or ideal expression is maintaining a high frequency of emotional energy that supports um, equality, like sustainable energy, a spirit of peacefulness in the area, using your emotional alignment to influence others and to serve as an energetic beacon of peace. Some contemplation questions. What do you need to do to deepen your trust in divine timing? So it's all about trusting divine timing. And sometimes what I've learned over the years, conflicts arise in order for learning to take place. It's in conflict or challenges that growth can take place, and that's not always comfortable. Another question, what do you need to do to prepare yourself to be seen and to have influence? Oh my goodness. That's an interesting question. I think that's what I've been working on in my business, quite frankly. I think that's what's been happening. I'm glad we're going over this today. What do you need to do to sustain your emotional energy to align with peaceful and sustainable solutions. So, solutions that will work long term over time. And how do you feel about lack? How do you feel about abundance? So, contemplating that. And how can you create a greater degree of emotional abundance in your life on a daily basis? Affirmations: my emotional energy influences the world around me. I am rooted in the energy of equity, sustainability, and peace. When aligned with abundance, I am an energetic source of influence that facilitates elegant solutions to creating peace and well being. I am deliberate and aligned with values that create peace in my life, in my community, and in the world. Okay, beautiful message from Karen. All right. So the goal of gate 6 is peacefulness. And I'm going to say the experience that a manifester is working towards is peacefulness. Peacefulness. Let me see. I have a little note here. Where is that? Let me see if I can get it off the top of my head. I think projectors are looking for success. And if anybody's listening to the replay and knows different, if I've got this wrong, um, the generator energies, either generator or manifesting generator, is looking for fulfillment. And reflector energies are looking for surprise, delightful surprises, not unexpected, uncomfortable surprises, but unexpected, delight-filled surprises. So I'm going to add that little thing on there because my son is a reflector, and I have noticed over the years he loves to be delighted by surprises. So, and he loves just little things that tickles his fancy. And brings delight to his space. So that's why I add that on there. So if you are, Maris, your sacral center is colored in. Am I remembering that correctly? So you're looking for that inner sense of fulfillment. The reason I'm bringing that up is because manifestors are looking for an deep inner sense of peacefulness, and the gate 6 carries that potential energy as well. Okay, all right. Okay. Looking in Barry Trosper's book, the I Ching name of this gate is Sung, S-U-N-G. And it is heaven above and abysmal water below. So you're looking for that peaceful heaven energy. And but there's that underlying potential of getting in deep water. So the short description he has here is disagreements and lawsuits, conflicts and oppositions are met and resolved. So things potentially learning how to handle conflict. If it's a consistent energy for you in your life, you'll have a consistent way of solving that conflict or working with it. And if it's colored in white, you'll have a flexible way of working with conflicts depending on who's standing in front of you or what the occurrence is and how it needs to happen. So you want to get creative with that. Sung is depicted naturally as the two opposing parties in the presence of the arbiter. So there's an arbitrator. So if conflict comes up, you can have a friend moderate or go get an actual hire a moderator if necessary, if things happen. Not that things need to go to court, right? Just go get somebody to help resolve the issues on either side. Song is a time when anger leads to conflict, especially as a civil lawsuit or tort, characterized by obstruction of sincerity, by devious cunning. So there could be trickery involved. Watch out if you're coming from that space within yourself. Just heads up. Good fortune can be achieved with wisdom and caution. So having caution as you proceed forward, using wisdom from what you've learned in the world and being honorable with all parties. Seeking wise advice brings improvement. So someone who knows better about whatever the conflict is There is none of the unity required to begin great undertakings at this time. So, moving forward with great caution. The significance of compromise and the wisdom of not fighting to the bitter end are important. So, relaxing, sitting down, looking at all the pieces to the puzzle, again, back to the Virgo pieces of the puzzle, getting everything put out on the table, and calmly discussing what's going on so that things can be set in order and move forward with peacefulness. So that's the ideal expression of the gate 6. Okay, do you have any questions about that, Maris? Okay, all right, very good. Okay, let's go ahead, and I believe the gate 46 has arrived on the scene here. Yep, our gate 46. And notice that the first few lines of gate 46 are in Virgo, and the second 2/3 of it is in Libra. So we'll be talking about gate 46 here, and the first part of it. I mean, we can start out with it again when we go to the Libra gates. I need to look back in our records and see where we started. I wanted to overlap from where we started out. I don't remember if we started out. I think we still need to move through Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. I think we might have started with Capricorn. So I'm just going over where in my mind where we started out with this journey. And I'm glad that we decided to do this because I'm learning the energies at a deeper level, how they behave within each of the signs, and how the energy shifts once we cross over these thresholds between the signs. It's being very eye-opening. Let's see. I noticed you had said, yes, I love this study. I'm glad it's being helpful for you as well. I know it's instilling the energies of the human design system and each of the gates more deeply for me. I've caught several places where I had little holes in my understanding, so I'm grateful we're doing this together. So, okay, so gate 46. Gate 46 is the love of being in physical form. It's also the gate of serendipity. If we want to know, if we pointed at any one of the gates in the design, um, any of the 64 gates as being the energy of luck, gate 46 is can be viewed as the energy of luck or serendipity. So, and I guess the big question is, why is that? The big thing here is showing up in the correct place at the correct time with the correct people and the correct attitude, because this is a gate of love. The 4 love gates are gate 10, gate 25, gate 46, and gate 15. So gate 10 is love of oneself. Gate 25 is love of all that is, or universal love. Gate 46 is the love of being in physical form. And gate 15 is the gate of the love of humanity. And then these other, so if someone has the incarnation theme of love, they will have all 4 of these gates in the 4, those are the 4 top gates in those 2 columns of gates on their chart when they receive their chart. And that is the life theme of love. And the Sphinx these are all direction gates. So gate 2, the gate of receptivity, gate 7, the gate of the army, oh, that just escaped me. Let me go get the correct thing. Yeah, uniformity. Not, I was going to say unity, but that's not correct. It's uniformity. Gate 7, getting a group of people from point A to point B. Gate 1, creative self-expression. And gate 13, the gate of the listener. So you can see they kind of make a little arrow. This is the gate of direction and leadership. These are leadership gates, like on a little compass. So, and then this is fascinating. These other ones create somewhat of a little heart. How fascinating. Hmm, I love that. So I didn't ever notice that pattern before. Yep, a little heart right there. And then this is pointing where your direction heads. Okay, so from your heart. Now, this is fascinating. In the Pirates of the Caribbean, when Jack Sparrow gets the compass and it's going all over the place, right? And when they go back to the Jamaican gal that he got, I believe she's the one that gave him the compass in the first place. And she noticed what was going on. And Jack, of course, was not going to tell everyone else that the compass heads in the direction where your heart goes. And he was getting all confused because he liked that gal that's there. So it was always pointing at her, and he couldn't get to other places that he wanted to go. So he handed the compass to her and asked her to look for the treasure, right? And the funny thing is, the Jamaican gal, and I can't remember what her name is right now, but she said something about that Jack doesn't know what him wants, right? Jack doesn't know what him wants. This is what she's talking about. He wanted that gal, and so the compass would point at her instead of the treasure, because to him, she was the treasure in the moment, right? And so he handed the compass to her and had her look for the treasure, if I'm thinking correctly. And if I'm if I'm not thinking correctly regarding the compass, but I remember her holding the compass and her looking for the treasure, because he wasn't able to look for it because his pointer was going all over the place. So that's a good depiction of the self center here and getting pointed in the right direction. So let's see. Mary says, I have no gate 46. Only my eldest son has it in an undefined center. Okay. So gate 46 for your son, he will need to pay attention to his health, his physical health at all times, and how his environment and the people that he's hanging out with, because his self center is colored in white. He'll need to pay attention to who he's hanging out with and how his body feels when he's hanging out with them, because that will let him know if he's hanging out with the correct people or not. It's like his little internal compass. If he doesn't like how his body feels, if suddenly he feels jittery or jumpy, or he's got to get up and run around the room, or he's feeling unwell around a certain group of people or certain persons, or oh, I don't know. If he feels like he doesn't want to do anything, like his body won't get up and do stuff when he's with certain people, okay, that he might be with the incorrect people. So someone who has the self-centered colored in white, they will know themselves through the people that they spend time with. And if they feel good around those people, and in this case, the gate 46, their body will feel good. You can apply that same archetypal energy to the other 7 gates on this self-center. So for the gate 10, if you like how you're behaving when you're around a certain set of people, then you're in the place where you belong. For gate 7, if you like how you're leading and bringing things together in leading a group, then you're in the correct group of people. For the gate 1, if you like what you're creating, then you're with the correct group of people. If you have gate 13 and the gate of the listener, and you have a white self center, and you like what you're hearing when you're with a certain group of people, and what you're listening to when you're with those people, then you're where you belong. You're with the correct people. If you have, in the case of gate 25, if you're loving what's going on when you're with this group, certain person or group of people, then you're where you belong. And we've talked about the 46, but and then the gate 2, if you are receiving what you love receiving and you're experiencing that, and you love it in this group of people or when you're with a certain person, then you are where you belong. And the gate 15, the love of humanity, if you're loving the people that you're spending time with and you're appreciating them, even though they have many very different interests, then you are where you belong. And if any of those things are other than that, then you're not where you belong. And that's a way you can tell if you are in the correct place with the correct people. And in the case of the 46, you'll have an uplifting attitude. You have the correct attitude that's going to bring the experience that you love. Then all those things line up in physical form, and that's luck and serendipity. So that's where that energy comes from. If your gate 46 is colored in white, then you will have an inconsistent, flexible, and varying way of experiencing serendipity or luck in your life in physical form, or having different attitudes, different ways of awesomeness showing up in your life. And you'll be able to feel that in your body in different ways. If the 46 is colored in, you may notice that that shows up in a consistent way for yourself. Okay. All right. Do you have any questions about that so far, Maris? Okay, very good. All right. So in Shaitan's book, he shows the channel, the 2946 channel. It is the channel of discovery in the collective sensing circuitry. So it's, again, all about the 5 senses, noticing how your body feels and in your environment. And then for step astrology, it's steps 28 through 29 on lines 1 and 2 in Virgo. And then it switches. So that's all about your physical form. And then in Libra, it will switch to how does your body feel in your personal relationships, particularly your relationship with yourself, because it's in the first decan, so steps 0 through 3. So it will be in relationships and balanced. So bringing balanced, physical balance, because it's has to do with your physical form in gate 46. In this case, in Libra, no longer has to do with Virgo, but it still has to do with the physical form and how your body feels when you're in relationship with others and in relationship to yourself. Okay. I know for me in my design, my part of my life theme, my gate 46 shows up in my unconscious earth activation. So that's in Libra at step 0. So how I take care of myself and my body inside of my relationships. So that's a good example that I can give you if your gate 46 is in Libra. And we'll talk more about that next week. So let's see what Karen has to say about gate 46 in her book. Okay, she calls this the gate of embodiment. And in the I Ching, it's the gate of pushing upwards, meaning if you can imagine a seed has sprouted and grown from the root center. Let me show here from the root center, so the root ball of the plant, and it's sprouting out and growing. Then it pushes a little shoot up through the soil. It starts growing up, produces leaves, and then the blossom starts producing here, or the bud comes out and then blossoms out. And from the self, it will have divine essence and expression out through the rest of the design. So you can imagine that this is like a stem. These are stems of the plant, and there's flowers going to come out and blossom and bloom here. So the 46 is all about this plant pushing up through the soil and growing and producing, right? A blossom. Okay, so the challenge here is feeling disconnected from one's physical form, or just not liking your body, period, not liking being in your body or how it looks or feels, avoiding nurturing or taking care of your body, avoiding commitments or being inconsistent with making commitments or trying to force things physically to happen. Trying to, in the case of if someone has a disfigurement in their body and trying to hide it. And so this would be like the unbalanced expression, right? The opposite expression of that, there is a beautiful woman. I don't know what her name is. She was born with some type of genetic thing going on with her body, and sh like she's completely disfigured in her form, her body. Um, she's tiny. She's remained tiny. Her sister lives with her and helps her. She's really, really underweight. And she has a very long face, and her teeth are all in different places than teeth normally would be. And her eyes are all disfigured and everything, but she is the most beautiful, happy individual that, and she goes around doing, offering talks and self-development, focusing on self-development and inner beauty. And she truly is very beautiful. When she starts talking, you know she's beautiful. There is no question. So that's at the other end of this appreciation of being in physical form. She loves who she is, and she's a very good example of how the gate 46 can love themselves even though there is a disfigurement, and it's very obvious. She doesn't try to hide it. She goes around in tank tops and everything, and she's just cool with it. So it's very, very fun to watch her. And she's a very good example of the high expression of gate 46. Contemplation questions here. Do you love your body? What can you do to deepen your love for your body? And what parts of your body do you love and appreciate most? Some affirmations. My body is the vehicle of my soul. My ability to fully express who I am and my life and soul purpose is deeply rooted in my body's ability to carry my soul. I love, nurture, and commit to taking care of my body. I appreciate its form and all of its miraculous abilities. Every day, I love my body more and more and more. Okay, that's beautiful. I love that. Okay, 846 in Barry Trosper's book. So, Maris, in your life, you'll have an inconsistent, varying, and flexible way of taking care of your body. Maybe one day you'll do it one way, and maybe one day you'll brush your hair, and the next day you'll use a comb, and the next day you'll use a different kind of brush, you know. as an example, just an everyday example. Um, uh, let's see. Maybe sometimes you want to take a soak in the tub, and other times you want to take a shower. Sometimes you take a quick shower, and other times you take a long shower. Um, let's see. I don't know. Jacuzzi. Sometimes you don't want to sit in a jacuzzi, and other times you do, depending on who you're hanging out with, right? So, okay. I love this picture in Barry Trosper's book. It says, "Is we've got earth above and wind below." Okay, gentle penetrating wind below in the hexagram itself. And the name of this hexagram in the Chinese I Ching is Sheng, Sheng. And the short description is opportunity to rise and advance by accumulating virtue until great. So there's a constant advancement. Sheng is depicted as a superior person beginning the ascent of stairs at a ceremonial temple. This ascent represents the accumulation of virtue along the way. Sheng is a time of opportunity associated with rising and advancement and characterized by great progress and success. Seeking wise advice in accumulating virtue furthers such advance. Also contained in this hexagram is a message to be aware when no further ascent or advancement is possible beyond one's ability. I'm going to read that again. Also contained in this hexagram is a message to be aware when no further ascent or advancement is possible beyond one's abilities. Okay, knowing when things are complete. So there will be a sensation. Oh, I want to show you a picture. Knowing when things are complete. And in this case, in this picture, they'll be complete when they reach a landing or when they reach the top up there where that building is at the top. Yeah, it's a very serene picture. I love it. So the big thing, serendipity is showing up in the correct place at the correct time with the correct attitude. Then serendipity can take place where lots of varying puzzle pieces or energies can come together that were unplanned, and yet they fall right together and come together. And our society views that as luck, but the correct attitude is the key. Okay. I've had so many things like that happen in my life. Maris, would you like me to, I feel like I would like to ask, would you like me to share some examples of things like that that have happened for us, or are you feeling complete with Gate 46 today? Okay, all right, very good. Okay, well, that is the end of our Virgo gates today. So, um, if you have any other questions right now, let me see if I missed anything. I don't think I missed anything. I went through all of the information. Um, this evening is Namaste Today with Christopher, and I am not sure who he's got coming on for his uh, visit with somebody. The term that he uses is not Astro Mingle. There we go. For Astro Mingle. And then I believe Linda has a replay from her quantum wellness presentation in the group from yesterday. The timing of that is not such that I'm able to hop on there with her, but I will go take a look at it and invite everyone to look at her presentation. She's a lovely gal, and she's one of our new moderators. And then Oracle readings on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and Linda's quantum wellness thing at, I believe, 1 p.m. Eastern in the group, but double check the events that Linda has in there. And thank you so much for being here today, Maris. I've enjoyed having you here, and I will talk to you later. You have a lovely evening with your family and a lovely weekend. And thank you for your well wishes here as well. So I will talk to you later. Okay. Yep, you're so welcome.